So let us begin our full body flow class by standing. And just for a moment, we'll bring our feet hip distance apart. And we'll just gently sway the body from side to side, allowing the hands, the arms, just to swing gently and sway. Begin to tap the front hand onto the front of the hip, just gently onto the abdomen, and allowing the back hand to tap onto the small of the back around the kidneys, just to stimulate the body, get the circulation moving and the breath flowing. And you can be really loose here, a softness in the knees, maybe the head gets involved. And then allow that swaying to slow down as the pendulum comes to stillness. Already maybe feel a difference in your energy. Perhaps you're feeling a little bit more awake. And let's step to the front of the mat. The feet can be hip distance apart or feet together. As we breathe in, take a bend in the knees, rise on up, arms go wide, palms pressing. Big breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to draw the hands down towards the chest, to the heart, as we lift through the right knee. Now to begin with, you may feel like you want to just keep your toe on the ground, that's fine, or just hover slightly over it. Or you may feel like you have a little bit more and can lift it up. Keep breathing wherever you are. And as we draw a next big breath in, then we'll reach the hands up, palms are still pressing, and the feet flow back. So you can rest your toe onto the ground, or you may feel like you want to hover up, or maybe you feel like you lift that back leg and reach forward. Now bend that front knee and gently drop that back foot down, dropping the heel onto the earth. Big breath in as you breathe into our warrior one. Breathe out, split the arms so that your left arm goes forward, your right arm goes back. And we'll straighten both legs and pivot to the long side of your mat. Draw a breath in, take a gentle bend in the knee. Reach out with the arms as you breathe in. We're going to hold onto our right wrist, Lift, big breath in. And as you breathe out, let's lean over towards your left. Gently drawing your hip towards your right and the ribs flare up. The gaze can go underneath your armpit up towards the sky. As you breathe in, we'll come to center, releasing the hands on your out breath down towards your hips. You can hold the small of your back with your thumbs. As you breathe in, we'll soften through the knees. Lift through the hips into a very gentle back bend. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see. So we're going to lift through the belly, through the heart, drawing the shoulders and the elbows back and down. So we're puffing up through the chest, keeping the back of the neck long as you take another couple of breaths. And when you're ready, on your next out breath, we'll come back upright and immediately we'll flow down into our forward fold. So bend the knees to reach the hands onto the ground. And as you breathe in, we'll lift into our tabletop back. So the hands can come onto fingertips, they can rest on shins as you raise on up, and the crown of the head is moving forward. As you breathe out, we'll sigh it down, bringing the hands to the ground. As you breathe out. Let's pulse that with a breath, and once again I'll just turn to the side so you can see that. Breath in, straighten through the legs, rest the hands on either your fingertips underneath shoulders, hands on shins or onto the thighs. Let's draw the breath out one more time and slide the hands down, bend the knees if you need to reach the ground. Breath in, pulse, glide alongside your breath, and as you breathe out, bow it down. And we'll take 1 or 2 breaths here, feeling grounded through your feet, working towards a straight leg, allowing the head to reach towards the ground. With your next in-breath, let's lift up to half rise, this time keeping the fingertips onto the earth, so you may still have your knees bent, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to pivot towards the front of your mat, so towards your left hand side, and drop your back knee down. Allowing the hips to drop, the knees to drop. As you breathe in, we'll reach on up into our crescent lunge, low lunge. Here I invite you to either you can keep your palms facing towards each other, or maybe you'd like to try hooking your thumbs. And as you breathe, you resist by gently drawing away and pulling against the thumbs. Lifting the heart, puffing up the chest once more, keeping the tailbone long as you breathe. Let's melt it down. Cactus arms, sprinkling your breath down towards the earth, and let's do that one more time. Breath in, rise on up, hook through the thumbs if you're taking that option, lifting through the heart. Again, rather than collapsing through the back of the neck, keep the neck long, so feel like you're drawing your head away. And breathing out, pulsing with your breath, sprinkling your breath down to the earth as you place your hands down to frame around that front foot. And here we're going to lift the back knee, and the back knee can stay bent as we just gently rock back and forth to open up through the calves, a little deeper into the thighs, maybe the hips. And you have the option here to go for a straighter leg towards the front. So the back heel works its way down towards the earth as the front leg straightens. I personally like to lift through my toes, it just feels better for my body. But you can have a try at keeping your front foot flat or lifting through the toes. And it doesn't matter if your knees do not straight, it's just as long as you feel a yummy stretch, warming, opening, freeing in the legs. And then for the final time, let's hold the hips back, inviting the back heel down, inviting a straighter front leg. And for the very last out breath, we'll take our head down and bow towards the earth. As we breathe in, we'll release the straightness of the front leg, bending through, and place that back knee down onto the ground once more. Let's bring the front leg to meet the back leg, so we're on knees, bringing the hands down. Now we're going to stretch the front of the body and you have a choice of dropping your belly into cow posture and picking up the tailbone towards the sky, lifting the heart and the gaze up towards the front of you. You can stay here and continue stretching the front of the body, or you can bring your shoulders over wrists, bring your chest down towards the earth, and take the hands wide, perhaps maybe even off the mat today. Keep your chin draw down, and then lift your heart, and then at the very last bit of your breath, you take the chest and the gaze forward. So whether you're in cow posture or in your cobra, you're just stretching the front of the body and breathing. Let's breathe out. If you're in cobra, come down. Bringing the hands beside your ribs and pressing on up into all fours. Now wherever you are, on your next breath out, let's lift the spine into your cat posture. So here we draw the navel up towards the back, the heart towards the back, chin down to chest, and we'll sweep back the hips over the heels. Just for one breath, and then immediately we'll draw back up with our in-breath into our tabletop position. Now we're going to stretch the back of the body a little bit more. So again, you have the choice to return to your cat posture and work a little deeper, or you can turn your toes underneath and then lift your knees, your hips into down dog. So it's okay, and in fact I recommend today that we have the knees slightly bent, and you can just pedal out one leg and then the other. Come to stillness. Big breath in. Invite the belly and the heart back towards the thighs as you breathe out. Let's look at our hands, and very slowly just stroll the feet up towards the top of your mat, up towards your hands. You may need to come up to fingertips, and that's fine. Bringing your feet hip distance apart to the top of the mat into a forward fold. Bend the knees if you need to reach the ground. Breath in and out, sigh it down. As you breathe in, let's take the arms wide. You can curl on up or hinge on up, flat back, as we reach on up towards the sky. Next breath out, grounding through the feet as the heart drops down towards your chest. Now let's do the other side. So as we breathe in, we'll reach on up with the hands, palms pressing. Keep your gaze on something ahead of you for focus, and as we breathe out, we're going to lift the right knee up. So again, you could be on toes, you can just hover slightly, or you can go for a fuller lift in that knee. As we breathe in, we're going to sweep that left foot back as we sweep the fingertips up towards the sky, and you can rest your back foot down, you can hover, spread the toes, or you can lean in towards your warrior three. Bend through that front leg and drop that back foot down. Very carefully, mindfully, and then drop that back heel down into our warrior one, where the hips are facing forward. And this time we'll split the right arm forward, the left arm back, and we'll pivot to the long side of the mat. So I will just turn again to the front so that we can see which way we're headed. So the feet are wide, and as we breathe in, bend through the knee, lift through the heart and the gaze until the palms press. Now we're going to lift through the left arm, reaching on up and over over as you breathe out to stretch the side of the body. Allow the hips to reach towards the left ribs to flare. Breath in, come to center. And as we breathe out, the hands drop onto your hips, the lower back, a softness in the knee. And as we breathe in, we lift the hips, we lift the ribs, and we lift the heart as the elbows move back and the shoulders move down. Breathe in. And as we breathe out, we'll come upright and immediately over into our forward fold with wide legs. Take a bend in the knee if you need to reach the ground. As we breathe our next breath in, we'll straighten the legs. So you may be on fingertips, you may rest on your shins or on your thighs with your hands. And as we breathe out, we'll slide it down. If it means bending the legs to reach the floor, feel free. Here I invite you to spin your fingertips from the front out to the sides and towards the back. And then, like little spiders, just walk them back as far as you can. So with the knees bent, if you need that for a little bit more balance, that's perfectly fine. But it takes a little bit of trust and a little bit of bravery to allow the head to just drop as you reach back to your maximum reach. Breathe here. Gently draw up the thighs and the knees and press the pinky toes into the earth. And try to release the top half of your body, the back, the head, as you breathe out. Walking the fingertips back underneath your shoulders to face the front, as once again we breathe in to half rise. Flat back, the back of the neck is long. Bend through the knees and let's walk and pivot towards the front of your mat once more. Dropping your knee down to the earth into our crescent lunge. Lifting through the hands, hooking through the thumbs as you breathe in. Puffing up through the chest, and as we breathe out, melting through the arms, sprinkling the breath down to the earth. Let's pulse with the breath. Big breath in, glide alongside the entire length of that breath as you rise on up. Hook the thumbs if you're taking that option and resist the thumbs by pulling them apart. Next breath out, melt it down once more as you place your hands around the right foot. Let's pick up the left knee and very gently just sweep yourself back and forth to work into the back calf a little bit more, and breathe as you move alongside your breath, so join the movement to your breath. And here you have the option to lift your hips, allow the back heel, your left heel, to fall down towards the earth as you work towards straightening that front leg. The front toes can be down, or you can have a go at lifting them through. So try not to round through the back here. Let's find openness and freedom in the back by offering your heart down towards your foot and the head down towards your foot. Breathe here. And if it feels nice, you can sway. You can move slowly, mindfully with breath. And for the final breath out, let's bow it down. Breath in, bend through that front knee, placing the front foot down if it's not already. And let's drop the back knee, the left knee, down to the earth. Place your hands down firmly for support as you bring your right leg down to meet your left leg. Let's stretch the front of the body. You can either dip into your cow posture, or you can bring your shoulders over wrists into half plank as you breathe out, chin and chest down to the earth. And you can take your hands wide or keep them in further towards your body, maybe underneath your elbows. Strong legs as you breathe in. Keep the head down and the gaze down until the very end. Let's breathe it out. Let's pulse this time with the breath. Bow it down, breathe out. Press the pelvis into the earth, the hands into the earth, breath in. And breath out. One more time. Breath in. And breath out. Let's breathe in and press on up onto all fours. Curl on up through the spine into cat posture as you breathe out, taking your hips over your heels. Breath in, come onto all fours. And let's just bring the knees in towards your hands and come down to your seated position. So sit however it's comfortable for you, but invite your heart up and your shoulders down as we just settle down with the breath and breathe. Breathe in, relax through the knees, the hips, tall through the spine, and as we breathe out, let's drop the right ear over to the right shoulder. And reach out through the left fingertips into the air. You'll know what height of the hand feels right for you. And as you breathe, let's sweep the fingertips around to the front. And as we breathe out, let's sweep the hand all the way to the side and maybe behind you. So let's pulse that with the breath. Breath in. Glide alongside the breath. And as you breathe, taking your hand out to the side. Excuse me, as you breathe out, let's sweep the fingertips towards the front. And as we breathe in, sweeping the hand back out to the side. Lifting the head upright with your next in-breath. Let's interlace the fingers. Big breath in, take the palms all the way up towards the sky. And as you breathe out, let's interlace, let's drop the hands onto the back of the neck. As you breathe in, once again, like we did puff up the chest before, we're going to lift the heart, open through the elbows, and maybe just take the gaze up towards the sky slightly without making any creases in the back of the neck. Just allow space between your shoulders and your ears. As we breathe out the next time, let's draw the elbows together and coil the head down towards your body, rounding through the spine. Be mindful not to place too much tension and effort into the head with your hands. Just allow the weight of the head to drop forward. And rather than drawing down with your hands, maybe you use your hands to lengthen through the neck rather than curling through the spine. Let's pulse with the breath. As we breathe in, open up, find your freedom, find your space with the elbows back, shoulders down, heart lifted and chest open. Breath out, coil it down. One more time. Next breath in, rise on up. And breath out, coil it down. And this time let's stay in our coil and breathe. Soften through the body. Be mindful of not pulling onto your head. Big breath in, let's lift it up and allow the hands to rest down onto your thighs. Let's breathe in and do the other side. As we breathe out, dropping the left ear to the left shoulder, reaching out with the fingertips. As we breathe in, be tall through the spine, ease through the shoulders. And with your breath out, travel that breath with your fingertips across the body. Ride along with that breath as you breathe in, drawing the fingertips back to the side of you and maybe even a little bit behind you. Move with your breath, join the breath to your, join the movement to your breath as you sweep your fingertips back and forth. Breath in, sweeping the fingertips back. Breath out, coming forward. As we breathe in, let's place the hand out beside you, resting down onto your lap once again. Breathe in, tilting the head back upright, and maybe just gently rolling through the shoulders. Finally, let's move into a twist. So we're getting the very last of our motion into the full body flow. Hands up as you breathe in. And let's split the right hand forward, left hand back. So the right hand goes onto the floor, the thigh or the knee. And before we rotate, before we twist, let's lift through the spine and relax through both hips. Next breath out, lead with your heart as much as you can over towards your left hand side. Maybe the shoulder at the back moves further around, inviting a deeper twist. But wherever you are, just make sure you can breathe. And on the very end of your next out breath, maybe your gaze and your nose moves around over your back shoulder as much as possible. Take a couple of breaths. Maybe just listen to the sound of your breath. Let's draw a breath in as we reach our heart to the front and our arms back upright. And as we breathe out, we'll split the left hand forward, the right hand back. Before we twist, let's create space in the vertebrae, in the spine. So lift up nice and tall. Big full belly breath. And as we breathe out, we gently draw the heart across over to the right hand side. Maybe the left shoulder moves around across the body. Maybe the right shoulder moves behind you a little bit more. And then lastly, through the top of the spine, the neck, maybe your gaze reaches as far around over that shoulder as possible. So keep a softness in the jaw, softness in the gaze here. And as you're breathing, just check through the body and see if there's any tightness, any tension that you're holding into, particularly the hips, and allow that to soften. Keep breathing into your belly. And with the next in-breath, we'll release back around to the front, bringing the arms up, heart to the front. Gaze can go up. And the next breath out, we'll draw the hands down to heart center. Let's close this class by drawing in another big breath. Arms go wide. The gaze rises with your breath, alongside your breath. And just like you're fogging a mirror, open your mouth and sigh out. Let's draw in one more breath and do that one more time. Big breath in, bow, and as you breathe in, rise on up, lift through the heart. And as you breathe out, sigh it out, fog that mirror. Bringing your hands to heart center. And you can rest your hands onto your lap, onto your knees, onto your thighs, in which any way feels good for you. And just breathe and listen to the sound of your breath. And take as long as you like, for as long as you have, enjoying this stillness and breath. Or you may like to, if you have more time, to lay down and spend a few moments in the corpse pose in Shavasana to really close out your practice there. Once again, thank you for practicing with me today and sharing your time with me. And I hope to see you next time on the mat. Thank you. Namaste.